Welcome to Full Scope, a podcast designed to analyze the games that we love, the headlines of music, and the movies we can't forget. I'm your host, Wellington Burns. I'm my counterpart, Savon Morris, the guy I keep seeing everywhere I go. I go to lunch. I go to Sunday lunch. He's just right there. The guy won't leave. Savon's corner won't leave.
Hey, man, I'm here to stay, man.
Well, we have a lot of topics to get into for this one. Obviously, we got to talk about the upcoming finals.
Oh, my goodness.
Some thoughts on some album reviews, and in the second half, we're going to do a review of the Untouchables. But to start off with the Mavericks Game 5 win against Minnesota, this was a dominant win from them from the jump. Luka-Doncic had 20 points, and this is one of those games where from the first quarter, it was no doubt that Dallas was really going to dominate this game from the jump. And looking overall at the blowout that Minnesota ensured, it was I felt as though it was going to be a more competitive showing from Minnesota, especially for a desperation game to extend it to Game 6. And I saw like the Inside the NBA crew, they were talking about how it almost felt as though Minnesota was content with avoiding the sweep and just not having to deal with that type of. It looked like that from the jump, honestly.
Right. Yeah,
and I thought that was a really good point. And overall, though, 124 to 103 from Dallas, and Luka-Doncic is able to win Western Conference Finals MVP. Kyrie also has 36 points. Luka has 36. And looking from this overall, though, what were your thoughts on this win for Dallas, and also your thoughts from how Minnesota closed out their season?
When you talk about sports, is sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong. And I did think they had a shot, even when they went down 3-0, to have an opportunity to come back and take it to Game 7. But it's a testament to what Jason Kidd has done throughout the series and throughout this playoffs. What they have done to one of the best defensive teams in the NBA, regular season and postseason, it should be reviewed, studied, and put into the Hall of Fame booking or whatever. Because, man, what they were able to do at the top of the key, not just a 1-2 game, but three guys they entrapped into their offense at the top of the key. They always had Gobert, Anthony Edwards, and I forgot one person they always loved to get into that 3-1 game. And then one that takes away closing out, that takes away the switching ability. And we see what happened when Luka hits the game-winning three to take it and win. And that was the offense they were doing the entire time. Stop at the top of the key. Not starting the offense at the either wing or down low. They started at the top of the key. And then when your guys are hitting like Luka and Kyrie, like they did this last game, 36 points, it just looks effortless. That's something that should have just be studied. I know it's kind of like simplistic, but Jason Kidd studied film, knew where their weak points were in their defense, and it's the middle of the top of the key. Man. And the penetration alone was crazy. I've never seen Timberwolves look this lost. And it started with the offense. It didn't matter what Ant Edwards did or Kate Towns did on the defensive side. They had to stop them. And then Ant get gas because he's always on Kyrie. He's always in the trio of just being lost into that top of the key offense, man. And I think not only it was the reason they won, it's going to be the reason why they can going to compete in the next series as well in the NBA Finals. So it's going to be interesting if the same offense that led them to beat one of the best defensive team can lead them to beat one of the best offensive teams in the Celtics.
I hope Boston knows they're in trouble. I hope Boston knows that. I hope Boston knows they're in trouble.
They're not in trouble.
I just want to say you can't coast, you can't be lackadaisical and get by teams without their best player in this series. It's not going to work. I
saw your point. Work. I saw Willis Lazo.
And they were in the comment section. Somebody said, "Hey," and a shout out to Angel. Shout out. I saw that comment. They said, "I will be right back here when the Celtics win the finals." I'm still going to be here. Wellington's Wise Zone is still going to be here. It's not going anywhere.
We don't back down here. Full Scope doesn't back down.
We don't back down here. But real quick though, I do want to say I'm not gonna read. If you want to watch One to Y Zone, check out Instagram, check out TikTok, check out Facebook, check out Twitter. You can see it there. But I think that this Mavericks team though is a different defensive team than they've been in the past. I think when you have your two best players actually showing defensive effort in Luka and Kyrie, which in the past they haven't, that's a difference. And then you got Gafford, who's this really good shot blocker. Derek Lively is one of their most important players. Like you can say he's like the third most important player on this team. And I think with Boston, it's just, is Kristaps Porzingis going to be 100%? I don't know. I haven't seen him in like
they
a
don't
couple
need him
months
really.
now.
To be honest, they don't need him.
In this series, they will. I definitely think so. In this series, they will. Against those bigs, they will. There's
Just
no
don't.
way. There's no way if he's at like 44%. There's no way that the Celtics are going. He's got to be at least at 80.
They're going to space. They're going to space these guys out. These bigs are going to be non-existent with this spacing, and the 3-point shooting. They're one of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA, and it showed throughout the series. Now, not only is Jason Tatum playing lights out, not only is Derek White playing lights out, Jaylen Brown has stepped up to the plate. They're one of the best offensive teams. They average probably 115 a game.
They are.
They're going to have to, and just like I said with Pacers game and game plan, I said the Celtics is going to out game plan and outscore the Pacers. It's going to be the same exact thing. The Mavericks going to have to play complete, fundamental, perfect basketball to beat these Celtics. They're on such a great high and playing really good basketball that the Mavericks going to have to be near perfect. And their defense is not near perfect. You can get into their zones. You can get to the rim. You can have great shots. We've seen it throughout the postseason. What I think the Timberwolves got gas and didn't know how to adjust against their offense. Now they got to go against another offense who averages more points and who are better 3-point shooters than they are.
And they weren't, but this is my thing with Minnesota. I think Minnesota was built to beat Denver. I don't think they were built to beat Dallas. Like I think that was a perfect, in these playoffs, you have a style contrast, and it's like, oh yeah, that wasn't the style that Denver was ready for. They weren't, their bigs were not ready for that matchup. And I think you can see that with Minnesota. And this one, it was like, oh, it's run and gun, and it's going to be gas. By game one, like you could tell this was going to be a different series. He hadn't experienced this type of like running around against a playmaker, against a scorer like Kyrie. No. So Drew Holiday, is that the best option against Luka, or Jaylen Brown or Derek White?
You act like wait. You act like that's a Jaylen Brown.
Drew Holiday is an excellent defender. I think Jaylen Brown is going to be the better defender. I think Jaylen Brown is going to be the option against Luka. Right. I don't think it's going to be Drew because of that height disparity. I think it's going to have to be Jaylen Brown.
I think Drew can mirror that pace that Luka has. But I don't think Luka is going to be the star point in the series. It's going to have to be Kyrie. It's going to have to be Kyrie.
Of course. I think he's familiar with this team.
Absolutely. Not just familiarity, but just how they did the offense. I don't think that's going to be consistent enough for them to be, or efficient enough for them to beat the Celtics. They're going to have to create more better shots with the top of the key. I think they have bigs and guys who can get to the points, who can switch well. I think that was the biggest thing. When the Timberwolves were switching, they were switching to guys who really don't have no foot movement or nothing. Rudy Gobert switching. It was a crap show. But I think when you got Al Horford who can still move, you got Drew Holiday. I think the switching is going to be more prolific for the Celtics when it comes to the game, to the Mavericks game plan. I just don't think that their bigs is going to come into a point. I think Jaylen Brown is going to be the deciding factor, defensive or front court and back court, because his defensive style this season has just rose tremendously.
It has.
It's going to go to game 6. It's going to 6 games. 6 games. I have the Celtics winning.
Just flip it. You got the right number. It's just going to be Dallas in 6.
Absolutely not, bro.
Hey, you have
how
your picks go.
Too much trust. Mine's are higher than yours. Let's get it right, bro. this postseason, we're about even. We're about even.
We are. We're just
Yeah,
deciding. This is round 12. This is round 12.
absolutely. It's going to game 6. It's going to 6 games. It's going to go to the Celtics. The Mavericks is not going to, they have to guard them too.
Of
They're going to
course.
outlast the Mavericks, bro. Just gearing up for the entire season. They're going to have to guard the Celtics.
Of course.
Who averages over 100 points a game. Who is a better 3-point shooting team than them they are. And a better defensive team than they are.
After both of these teams' last games, who looks more in sync to you? Who looks more in sync to you? Looking at both of these last games, both of these closeout games, who looks more in sync?
I like the Celtics more in sync. And you thinking they're in sync because of the game plan. They were running the same play, which if it's not broke, don't fix it. Doesn't mean they were in sync. They were just knocking down the threes and having good shots with their game plan. Celtics on both front court and back court look in sync. Going after the ball, extra hustle, understanding, like closing out, finishing games.
If Luka doesn't miss that free throw in game 4, they're winning that one too. I mean, it's just like they were not like Minnesota really struggled to just beat them one time. And that was the team that beat the defending champs. Just one time. Barely got game 4 by the skin of their teeth.
But you said they were built to beat Denver, not beat that team. So you can't have a correlation because they beat the defending champs that the Mavericks is going to beat the Celtics. The Celtics is a different ball game, ball team, or the whole 9. Talent-wise, the Celtics are better. Shooting-wise, the Celtics are better. Defensive-wise, Celtics are better. Their effort is better. Now, I do say PJ Washington and Lively have stepped up in these series, but they're going to have to play. They're going to be better than them contributing to just rebounds and defense. They're going to have to score. They're going to have to outscore the Celtics. Do you really believe that the Mavericks can outscore the Celtics?
I do. I do.
Not looking wise this morning, ladies and gentlemen.
I got a lot of trust in this Dallas team.
You have a lot of trust in Luka, and that's going to get you in trouble.
You know why?
That's going to get you in trouble. That's going to get you in trouble.
I'm biased towards Luka.
Absolutely. I'm glad you can admit that. I'm glad you can admit that, bro.
You know how many years I've been defending Luka, and he's finally in the finals? Oh, I'm not. I am not hopping off the bandwagon. I'm riding the top.
I understand it. And then make sure you keep your ticket stub so you can have memory of when they lose, okay?
Hey, listeners, fully hold me accountable because I'm going on record that I'm biased when it comes to Luka, and I got the Mavericks in 6. So if they lose, if they lose, hey, call me crazy. Say I'm not wise anymore.
You got to change your name to Wellington Zone. Load Zone, whatever. I don't know. You got to change it after this series, man.
But another interesting discussion that's kind of come across, especially with how Luka and Kyrie have played, is been like the backcourt discussion about, you know, where do they rank among the greatest ever. I talked about this earlier that I do think I personally think they're in the top 5 of best backcourts.
Top 5?
Yeah, I got them in top 5 best backcourts ever. But I have my reasonings behind that because I have other people in front. Obviously, Steph and Clay, they're better. I got Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars better. Magic Johnson, Byron Scott, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. But I think when we look at 2 scorers equally, bro, more than 30 points for 3 straight games, we have never seen that before. And the type of defensive nightmares that they pose towards multiple defensive units, I think that you can put them in that top 5 best backcourts. Tyler said I was crazy. So I know you're about to say I'm crazy.
They have not accomplished anything. That's just a small nuance to what these other, like Clay and Steph, LeBron James and Kyrie, they won a championship together being in the like.
I mean, LeBron's positionless, though. You know what I mean?
KD Russ is better. Like, bro, what are you talking about? They have accomplished
They never won
things.
a title. Kyrie and Russ never won a title. And I mean,
but
now
they accomplished more. They accomplished more as a 2. That's what I'm thinking of. Like, Ginobili and Parker accomplished more.
Yeah, that's why I put them ahead of them.
You put it in the top 5, though. without even accomplishing anything.
Look, I'm telling you, this take is gonna look so great. This take is gonna look so glorious after this. I'm
Oh
telling
my
you, I'm geared
goodness.
like these. I look crazy right now. I know I do. On this Saturday morning, I
Absolutely.
look crazy right now. But I'm telling you, in a
Absolutely.
couple of weeks, this is gonna age like fine wine. The greatest, the greatest Cabernet you will ever. I mean, I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. You think I'm crazy? Y'all think I
You
am crazy?
are. You are, bro. You are. To
How
put
do
them
you think
to
equally in terms of offensive talent and what they can do? Is that not one of the most like formidable backcourt duos we've ever seen?
bro, it's
Good.
more than that.
Okay.
It's accomplishments. I'll give you Balcowsy and Sam Jones for the Boston Celtics over them. It's not just
Now
about
you can't put them historically. Yeah, I would say yeah.
equally talented. It's what you accomplish as those two. I would
Mhm.
put Ray John and Ray Allen over those two guys because one, they won a championship and they consistently got to the NBA Finals.
Mhm.
Last year, Kyrie, they didn't make it. Now this is the first year they're not top 5. I give them like top 20 because they're excellent talent. But to move up, you have to accomplish things. You have 30 points back to back. That's cool. First,
Back
you
to
got to,
back to back.
that's
3 straight
cool. We've
games.
seen that before. We've seen
Mhm.
remnants of that before. Kyrie and LeBron did it.
They did that in Game 5 against in the finals. Yeah, the
But they
combining
used
for
to equal
82,
the
combining for
points,
82.
though. I mean, I would take LeBron and Kyrie over Luka and Kyrie any day because LeBron's going to play defense. LeBron's going to do all the extra stuff. He's gonna contribute to the game way more than Luka does, and that's
The reason I didn't say LeBron and Kyrie is because I view LeBron as a positionless player. I don't view him as traditionally like in the backcourt sense because he can roam around in multiple positions. You know what I mean? Like, I think he can like he's kind of defied just putting a player into one position. You know, and boxing him into one position. I feel as though LeBron covers multiple categories. You know, in terms of
what.
what position would you put him in? Like most people put him in like what shooting forward. You know what I mean? So I think that part like that's where we primarily think of LeBron being.
But you can't take from what they accomplished and what they
Oh
did
no, I'm not
together.
taking away. Yeah, that
But
is
you
historic.
could do Michael Jordan and Ron Harper.
Okay, see that's I'm so glad you mentioned that. I'm so glad you mentioned that because who do you think of more, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, or Michael Jordan, Ron Harper? You think of Michael
Scottie
Jordan, Scottie
Pippen
Pippen.
was more defense. You don't think of Scottie as a real like he was a scorer. Don't get me wrong, but Ron Harper when he got there, their offense got 10 times better with him and Mike. Scotty was a better defender and a more contributor to other access to the team. But when Ron Harper got there, it was different. You could tell the difference between when he wasn't there and when he got there. And they won a lot and they accomplished a lot.
Oh, of
I mean,
course. I'm not down.
but
The accomplishments are the best ever for sure.
to put Luka and Kyrie prematurely in the top 5 is I love you, brother, but definitely crazy. Prematurely. I see the potential. You're looking at the potential in the overall big picture, I'm hoping.
I said that. I said in a couple of weeks it's gonna age like fine wine. I keep saying that.
But it's not, bro. They're close. Kyrie's at the tail end of his career too.
He's
I don't think
32. He's only 32.
basketball years, man.
But I'm saying he's still got I think at least a good 4 to
Injuries.
5 years in him.
But you think they're gonna be able to keep that same? Okay.
Okay, I mean
Whoever
we are
wins
dealing with
Yeah,
I can't
whoever
wait for the
wins
finals. I can't wait
the
for this
first
finals. Oh my
game is
goodness,
going to win the finals. It is going to be the
I
Celtics.
can't wait. I mean I know I was on the Nuggets. I'm so glad the Nuggets are out now because I got Luke in the finals. And I get to defend my top 5. Like, this is
You can't
great. This
defend
is
that,
great.
bro. You
This is
can't
one of the
defend
most
that.
excited I've been times I've been for the
I can
finals.
hear it in your voice. I can see it in the curvature of your smile and laugh. But that means you know who else can do that? Who else is excited? The Joker. You know what the Joker was? An insane person. That's what you sound like. You sound like you
Oh
got
my
Harley Quinn in the
goodness.
back room and you just in the mirror laughing. Oh yeah. The Mavericks. That's what you sound like. A crazy Joker. Yes.
Calling Wellington's Y Zone crazy. Wellington's Y Zone. reputation is on the line, but you know what? We are not scared down here. This is what Wellington's Y Zone was built for. The
Yeah.
reputation is on the line.
You on your own, pal.
Wow, Savon's corner took all the heat for OKC, and now he's like, nah, you got to deal with the heat now.
Hey, exactly. I definitely dealt with that. Oh man, they ripped me. They was like, "You really think?" Okay, man, I really did. I had the confidence in them, but your confidence, man, in this Mavericks team, man,
This is the most disappointed Savon has been in me in years.
It's man. I'm hoping that is correct because you can defend your honor, but I just don't think. Man.
Mm-hmm.
We got a different Jaylen Brown, man. That was a difference last year.
He's different. He's different for sure. Yeah, I need to see Tatum have an amazing finals performance. I need to see amazing finals performance.
Oh, finals, yeah.
You know what I mean?
He got
is
hurt
the time.
Last year.
I mean, that was the Eastern Conference Finals though, and when they lost to an 8 seed.
Before he got hurt, they were going to go to the finals before he got hurt.
Those are your Kings. Those are your Kings.
No, come on now. Don't do that. I'm not a Celtics fan for sure. Come on, man. Don't do that. Don't start that narrative. Oh, yeah, you're a Celtics fan? Absolutely not, sir. I'm not a Celtics fan.
Man. Everybody I've talked to, though, listeners, I'm telling you, everybody I've talked to,
I'm going to pray for you.
They have told me, even Savon and my brother Tyler, when we were at having Sunday lunch, they said, "Hey, Celtics."
Yeah, man.
I've had to deal, but you know what? I didn't say I didn't say, oh no, the Mavericks aren't going to win because two wiser men than me said that. You know, I respect my elders, but you know what? I still got the Mavericks. Wellington, this is going to define the legacy of Wellington's Y Zone for years.
Don't say that.
Great grandkids.
Don't say that,
like, okay, will Wellington's Y Zone be a reputable source or will it be fraudulent? Will it be a reputable source or fraudulent? Which one will it be? Which one?
Please don't put this on your career, your legacy, bro. Okay, thank you. Because you have so much more.
Yeah, I got so much more. I'm wilding.
Yeah, wilding. But hey, if they do win it, they're still not top 5. I'm just gonna put that out there. If they win the championship, they're still not top 5. It's too premature, bro. Just like
you have to see a multiple year run for you.
Yeah, just like we talked about Jokic and Jamal Murray. You think they're the best duo since peanut butter and jelly, but I don't think so.
I said currently, I thought they were the best duo, and that's changed, obviously.
Oh, well, this is Y Zone is changing.
Chill. Oh man. I'm telling you, man, these Saturday morning recordings, man, we act a little different.
Oh, they gotta get used to it. It's June 1st. We gotta talk about that in the green room, man.
In the green room, we're gonna get to that for sure. And now getting to the tragic news of Bill Walton's passing, the former ESPN commentator and base center who played for 3 NBA teams and won 2 championships during his 13 years in the league. Also, the college superstar at UCLA. And he died this past Monday after battling cancer. And man, he lived life in such a gregarious way. He always was vibrant, always brought energy. Anytime he commentated with Dave Pasch for those West Coast college basketball games, it was some of the most entertaining commentary you could hear because he really wasn't on a script. He had all the knowledge, was great commentating, but also brought a lot of uniqueness and personality to the broadcast booth, and I thought that was such a great addition to commentating overall. Man, but to you, man, like how will you remember Bill Walton, his legacy, and just what he did in his career and even off the court?
Man, Bill, one of the best big mans, and if there was a Hall of Fame for just big man, he'll be in there.
Absolutely,
first ballot Hall of Famer. But man, he's just. What I loved about Bill and what I read about Bill, man, he just loved life. He was just like you could call him a hippie if you want to. Yeah. You could call him a hippie, but he just lived life, man. He didn't have any regrets. Even his son ended up getting to Luke. Luke, man. That was supposed to be a joke, but it just sounded terrible, so I just stopped.
Oh no.
Because his son was terrible as a player and a coach.
Oh man.
And he didn't care about that, man. He just loved his son, man. But no, man, Bill's life, man, one of the greatest big men ever, and what he did off the court as well. I mean, his legacy is, is stamped, signed and sealed, man. And condolences to his family. But yeah, a legend has passed, man. Another legend has passed, man. And yo, it's kind of, it's not crazy. It's life.
Yeah, it happens.
If you don't know who Bill Walton is, I need you to do a couple things. I need you to type it in YouTube, watch his highlights,
Oh my goodness, man. When
watch
he was
the.
healthy,
Oh my
when he was healthy,
goodness.
what he did with Portland in
Oh my
'77.
goodness. Oh my goodness. That alley hoop getting pushed, like bro, getting pushed and leaning. Yeah, bro. Like he was different. And if you looked at him, obviously he's tall. You was like, oh, he played basketball, but every tall person isn't good. I'm
No,
telling you. But Bill was that guy, man. Bill was that guy. So type his highlights in and then read his story. Like he did a lot in his life. Really, really a lot. And he was a great announcer, great analyst
oh for
too.
sure.
He had an insight. But yeah, man, can't say enough about old Bill.
Yeah,
Old Bill.
he really just left such a unique stamp on
Yeah.
the game, on just the entirety of the broadcast community, and obviously the NBA. So we're definitely going to miss him.
Hmm.
And moving on. Well, I wanted to say this first before we move on to our albums. That there's been the discussion with Caitlin Clark and Charles
Mm.
Barkley, LeBron. They were talking about, some people just aren't, and then WNBA are appreciating her enough, and she's done so much to bring in this revenue and bring more of a highlight towards the WNBA season. Because I think I've heard more about the WNBA season, this particular one, than I have in many past
Absolutely.
years. Um, and it's
Absolutely.
interesting because there's a contrast. Because I've heard some people say, "Oh man, like Caitlin Clark." I mean, you didn't say this for a black female player. Now you're saying it for like people have brought in kind of the race aspect of it as well. But I do think Caitlin has brought different eyeballs to the league.
Hmm.
And you got to say, like, this past year though, Angel Reese with what she did, and then bringing that highlight and attention. Like, this is a new era for the WNBA, and I think we're seeing more viewers, added additions to it, more interest. What have kind of been your thoughts on Caitlin Clark's start to her WNBA season, and just kind of the attention she's bringing in on and off the court?
So, man, I try to be slow to speak with this. Every new basketball player in the WNBA who was drafted this year contributed is contributing to the
Mm,
hype and the overall scope of the WNBA.
yeah,
Everybody has different contribution. Everybody has different rewards. It all goes back to sustaining the WNBA. This has been the most watched season, and it's not even over yet. Most watched season in history. And I
absolutely.
think and everybody knows the main reason is Caitlin Clark. Now, everybody has a contribution, but Caitlin Clark, her hype, what she did at Iowa, and to be able to, and then getting a offer from the Big Three. I mean, it's warranted that type of, you know, eyeballs on you. And a lot of people want to bring race into it. I don't think it's a race thing. Everybody's contributing
I don't think it
to
is either.
the overall scope of what the WNBA needs to be
Hmm.
sustainable.
Yeah,
But I think people are not differentiating and separating being a rookie in being a star. And I think people expected her to come in and to be immediately good. But that just goes to show you, and I think people are starting realizing how good the rest of the players have been for years,
and they get to notice.
just didn't have the publicity. And it only takes one person. Like when LeBron James came in, like it was different. All eyes were on him. He did not disappoint, and the NBA viewership went up.
Yeah.
It just skyrocketed. It's similar to the same thing, but LeBron came in. It was like good immediately. But Caitlin Clark has to learn a different style of basketball, and
Hmm.
that goes to show you, even when you're on the top level, you're still learning. So once she gets into that, she'll be fine. But I think people got to separate the two. Yes, she's a star. She's going to be the one of the faces of the WNBA, but she's still a rookie. Like
For sure.
she's straight out of college. So please differentiate the two. And what she's I think she's progressively getting better. It's just her shot selection has to continue to get better. Everything else and the turnovers. Oh my goodness. She turned the ball over a lot in Iowa, but she has to
Mhm.
clean that up. Better
Oh yeah,
shot selection and the
that
turnovers
has to
have to
be
be cleaned up.
fixed. Yeah, that has
Mm-hmm.
to be fixed for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, man, one more thing though with the Lakers, bro, they got the able to get the 17th pick.
Mm-hmm.
Pelicans deferred taking their first round pick until 2025. Now they got the 17th pick. It's looking like LeBron, the GM, is working behind the scenes to get Bronny on LA to get Bron. It's looking like it. It's looking like it, man. I don't know. Think it's
if
gonna
he
happen?
if he gets drafted in the first round, it's crazy. There's probably better players on the front court and the back
Yeah,
court better than Bronny.
for sure.
Second round, go nuts. Put him on G League because that's typically still feels like college.
Hmm.
G League them, let them train up, bring them up. Do it that way. Second round. You need a guy who can come in and make an impact now. Don't pick Bronny at 17, man. Don't pick Bronny at
Yeah,
17. But there's
I
a
don't.
possibility.
Yeah, after that, I was thinking like, yeah, it seems more likely, but I don't think it's the smart move.
No.
And I think there's so many more additions they could use and just wait to see how he develops in the G League or even second round. So
Yeah.
I think that's something they should just move past. But I know LeBron's not going to do that.
He wants to play with his son.
He
He
wants to
only
play with
has
his
2
son.
years
Yeah,
left.
this is the scheme. This is the plan.
Yeah, they're gonna ship him off as soon as he leaves.
It's
And
like your dad's gone. Get
my
out.
fear is he's gonna get shopped around.
Mm,
And that's not a career you want. I'm not saying Bronny's not a good player, but he's not officially ready to be in the NBA. Defensive wise, he's a good defender
oh, for
and
sure.
he's a good facilitator, but he has so much more in him that has to be developed, and he hasn't had the opportunity to develop yet. But
Definitely. And now moving on to our first album review with Vince Staples' Dark Times. In his new project, there's more of a gritty, dark feel to it, and there's kind of new depths he's reaching as he's discussing his life and the people he's encountered. And the first time I listened to this album, it was I was kind of like had mixed feelings about it because there were some good tracks, but it didn't
yeah,
stand out. And then the more and more I listened to it, I started to really enjoy the project because I saw it as, first of all, a very focused project, very very concise, and I was like, oh man, this is a dark album. Like this, like the subject matter, the theme matter he's discussing, he's like discussing some very like dark topics, and it's also like one of those albums. It's dropped in the summer. The weather's nice, and then you listen to it and you're like, man, I don't know if this is what I
this is
want to
not what
bump.
I
But then when
expected.
you actually
Yeah,
listen to the album, the more and more you're like, I see what he was doing because it literally happened a couple of days ago. I just played it again just to give it another try, and I was like, oh, this works. Like this really works. I think his he had about 3 interludes overall. It's like 9 songs really when you look at the total output because he did have a couple interludes in there. And I thought this was a dope project. I like this was his, I think, last album on Def Jam, and he's obviously got the Vince Staples Show season 2 that was renewed recently,
hmm
having a lot of success just in general, in terms of his different projects outside of music. And I thought this was a really good album. I'm not putting it at the same level as I would the self-titled Vince Staples album and the Ramona Park Broke My Heart, but I thought this was a good project. It takes multiple listens. I think it takes multiple listens
yeah,
to really appreciate it because I was like, this is a layered album. This is a really layered album, and I got it, more after a few listens. But to you, kind of, what were your initial thoughts?
yeah. This is. I'm glad you said that. This is for people who are patient and willing to give something multiple chances and give it multiple ears throughout a week, a day, whatever the case may be. You're gonna have to listen to this more than once to
Oh, for sure.
appreciate the value that he put into it. And I think he had a interview with Lowe on Apple Music. He was talking about he knows where he fits in the ecosystem of the music industry, and
Hmm.
that allows him to create freely. I think that's really dope because I think he's the type of artist. It's not what I expected, but I'm
Yeah.
glad he did it this way because he used one of my favorite clips of James Baldwin, and Oh, I forgot her name. It was I used that for my black woman versus black man thing. It was like, lie to me. You lied to that what on the job? Like that was when as soon as I heard that, I was like, okay, Vince, come on, Vince. But I didn't think he was gonna use it the way
That he did.
did.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
like women be lying, bro. Like that's my cousin. I'm like, what? What? Vince, you use something so powerful and then kind of like a dark side to it.
yeah.
You women talking about lie to me, but y'all lie all the time. Like it was just like a twist, a dark twist of
Mhm.
fate. Because that whole interview that they did was, man, I watched that thing probably like 3 or 4 times. It's a long interview. But man, yeah,
What interview was it?
it was, oh, I forgot her name. It was she's an activist too. It
Oh,
was,
okay.
yeah, it was at the time. I think it was in the late 70s, and they sat down and had an entire like an hour interview. They were talking about all this stuff, but that clip is the most snippet clip of that
Gotcha.
interview because it's they talk about the separation of women, black men and black women,
Hmm.
and the I guess kind of like the separation of the black family, and that was part of it. That was a snippet of it. So definitely a dope album. Listen to it more than once. You're gonna appreciate it because in the scope of how the music game is going, obviously this is not gonna be played on a Friday night like you about to go out. This is something you're gonna have to contemplate. This is
Yeah.
something you have to really think about and really listen. Open your ears and be receptive to what he's talking about because he's really talking about a lot, and he
Yes.
did it in what you said. Lit kind of 9 songs, but it's 13 songs because he had
Mhm.
interludes. But he did it in a concise way that didn't prolong the message, but he got straight to it. So it's just yeah.
A
You gotta
35-minute album, a 35-minute
mhm.
album, and he really got to what he wanted to get to.
Unheard of in this climate.
Oh, unheard of. I mean, he's doing things that we like. He's really like playing his own game. That's what I respect about Ben Sable. He's playing his own game, and he's like, "This is what I want to do. This is
Absolutely.
this is how I'm gonna go about it." And there's no questions about how I want to go about it. And his next steps and everything he's talked about in interviews. Because I've watched a lot of Ben Sable's interviews in the past, and I'm like, he's doing everything that he said he was gonna do.
Mhm.
Like he said, I'm gonna do shows. I'm gonna leave Def Jam eventually. Like all these different things. It's like, oh, he's doing it.
Mhm.
And so I've got a lot of respect for it. A lot of respect for this.
Mhm. Man of his word. Man of his word.
Definitely. And now getting to our next review with Village's Fun. I mean, this album it's a very concise one that does have summer vibes, goes away from the slower paced jazz and soul focus sound that they used to have. You know, a really breezy listen. Honestly, it was a transition from the norm in terms of what they've done in the past. I did have to adjust to that because I was like, oh, I'm used to them just doing this one thing, but then they go to something different, and I think it fits for a summer type vibe and summer type listen. And this was a dope project. This was definitely a dope
Mhm.
project. They switched it up a lot, and I think
Mhm.
man, just flows really nicely, very smooth, very breezy, and I think it works.
Bro, I wanted more.
Yeah, I was kind of like,
I
just want
wanted
some more.
more. And again, always give us our flowers. We talked about how Nas dropping consistently, even at this age,
It's
gives a
inspiring people.
give yeah, inspire people to drop, bro. They're still dropping. Like this album was so good. I was like, that's it? I was like, oh no, bro. Like, bro, like it started crazy and their bars was just crazy. It was just like, I'm like, man, this is to me, this was a perfect album. This was perfect. There's nothing. The beats were crazy. The lyricisms were crazy. The features are crazy. Corday fit so well with them. I was like,
That's
wait,
their vibe.
that sound like Corday. I was like, oh, that is Corday. I hear that lisp. you know, Corday has the lisp. And I was like, bro,
Oh man.
this makes so much sense. I always try to categorize what Corday sounds like and what era he would be in. He would be with Slum Village
Oh, for sure.
for sure. He would be in a group, like not YBN because he denounced them, but he would have been in a group. It would have been something like Tribe Called Quest or Slum Village
Yeah.
because Slum Village, yeah, man, oh my god, this is a perfect album. I have definitely got saved the whole thing. play it straight through. I listened to it about a couple times, and I was like, man, and then I'm about to go listen to what they just dropped. I think either this week or last week. They got like a 3-song thing called, what is it called? Me. It's 3 songs. They dropped it a week ago.
Oh, gotta review that too.
Yeah, 3 songs. I'm excited for. I'm like, yo, these guys are still rapping. Yo,
Still rocking out. Still
Outcast,
rocking out. Yeah,
still
okay.
rocking
I'm
out.
sorry, Outcast. I
Come
think
on,
we might have to call y'all out every episode. Honestly,
come on,
we got to hear something else. We got to hear something else, man. There's
Killer.
and y'all are hanging out too. I saw them like what they were out Memorial
Yeah,
Day weekend, all out. Like I was like, oh yeah, y'all
yeah,
talking. I definitely still talk.
right, bro. Drop something.
Music doesn't get brought up at least once in that conversation.
I know Big Boy talking about it. I know he like, bro, we need to do this album, man. Bro, like, if Killer Mike is still dropping and
Yeah,
dropped and got Grammy nominated
Grammy.
and won
Yeah,
Outcast, and I'm not taking anything from Killer Mike. That's just a testament. Like, he's still in y'all ecosystem. He's still around y'all. I know he telling y'all, bro, drop something. You just dropped a nothing but instrumental music. You playing your instrument, and it got everybody went crazy for it. You think
and it was dope. Yeah, it
we
was
don't
dope.
care if you're talking about traveling, bro?
Yeah, honestly,
How
I just take a travel album. Like
how you
summertime,
present
people gonna
it?
be traveling.
Exactly, bro. Your rap style, how you present it, your creativity. You think we're not gonna listen to it? I have nothing to
Come
say.
on, man.
You're afraid.
There are people who are saying stuff that don't have anything to say, and they're still dropping. You actually, anything you say, we're gonna listen. I promise you.
Listen to, bro.
Promise you.
I was like, yeah, I can't wait till you drop. I thought it was gonna be like him talking or something, like him spoken word. We would have talked. We would have took a spiritually spoken word
I
album,
would,
cuz.
for sure.
Yeah, man. But nah, yeah, this was dope. Old heads, man. Continue to drop. Continue to drop.
Common P Rock, they're dropping soon. I was talking to Joe the other day, and he said he can't wait for that album. He said he wants to be on when we review that the
Oh,
Common
Joe.
P Rock album because I know that's gonna be some heat.
Yeah,
I
that's
know
gonna be
that's gonna be some heat.
crazy.
Yeah.
Producer's gonna be, ooh, that room is gonna be smelling like cabbage in there. They gonna be cooking.
They're gonna be cooking for sure, for sure. And now getting to our next album review with Rhapsody's "Please Don't Cry," dropped a 2022 song album, and it's a lot of features in it, a lot of kind of like therapy rap, similar to an influence of Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and it's interesting because this was first of all too long of an album for me.
What you say
Too
now?
long of an album. I don't need 22 songs. But I think it's a mixed bag. There are some highlights in it, but I also think at some points I think when you're doing a therapy album, it has to be constructed in a way that's symmetrical to an audiobook in a sense, or a journey. You know what I mean? And I think with this one, it kind of was like scattered,
Absolutely.
a little scattered throughout. It's like, oh, I can't for a therapy album, I can't have like highlights here and there. I kind of need to be like, oh man, this is like with Mr. Morale, it feels like a journey, and I'm like, I see what he's doing. It was kind of like, one side Mr. Morale, the other side the Big Steppers. He was very intentional with everything he put in the
Mm-hmm.
features. This one, it kind of was scattered. It had some moments. I think there were some good tracks for sure, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
something I'm gonna revisit.
Not at all. Now, we're not gonna tear you down. We're gonna build you up.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm not trying to do that.
No. We're gonna tear you down and build you up. Is what I meant. There is a lane for therapeutic music
Mm.
and creating a story through music because it's been done before. That's what hip hop is, telling the story about your surroundings. And you did it wrong.
Yeah, it was.
But there's a lane for it. 22 songs is too long if it's inconsistent and it doesn't flow well. I didn't think it flowed well. I was surprised. Dixon, I liked the song with Dixon was on there. Erykah Badu was straight. Alex Isley's song was okay. Like, it was just like too scattered. I didn't
Mm.
like the Little Wayne song. Back in My Bag was probably the best song to me,
Oh, for
but
sure.
it was just too spotted. It needed to be more concise if you're going, if you don't have, like, I won't say bangers, but songs that really resonate and I can regurgitate them.
Mm.
I can't regurgitate all this.
Yeah.
Like it's not gonna come up in conversation. Hey, bro, you remember that Rapsody song she dropped in 24? Bro, it's not. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna come up casually in conversation. There's a way to do it. You saw the blueprint, you didn't use it. So, but
Yeah.
there's a lane. It wasn't terrible,
Right. No.
but you didn't use the blueprint.
Yeah, I definitely think that was it was a missed opportunity.
Mhm.
Could have approached it a different way. Um, you know, it was to me a lot of features. Honestly, I think this was a lot of
1, 2,
you know
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
I
9,
just thought it
10,
was too much. I
11,
just
12, 13.
this almost got to the big day chant, which we always mention the most featured album we have like ever seen in the modern era. That man said, "I don't want one song by myself. I need everybody." Like, oh man,
That just screams insecurity, man, to
it
me.
really does. Yeah, it really does. When an artist does that, collaborating so much, I just I want to hear you. I want to hear you.
Yeah.
I don't mind you collaborating if you really flow with that person. Do it, but I do want to hear you, and I think that's what this album was missing for sure. But there's a lane for it. There absolutely is a lane for it. So we don't want to say
Absolutely.
that therapy rap shouldn't be, here. It always there's always a need for it,
Absolutely.
especially in this current climate. But it has to be approached in a very strategic way. And yeah, this didn't hit the mark. And now getting to our next review of Don Toliver's "Attitude" featuring Charlie Wilson and Cash Cobain. In this new single, which he recently dropped. There's a sample and loop of the hook "Beautiful." The Cash Cobain production is dope, but it sounds very repetitive. It sounds like a very repetitive song, and I just hate that you wasted a Charlie Wilson, because I mean you got Charlie in there. Like, this could have went crazy. It just felt so empty. I know it's gonna get a lot of play. I know it's gonna get a lot of play because it is a type of radio song, but I didn't. It's not one I rocked with, honestly. I thought it was, and I like Don Toliver, but
Yeah.
I've been kind of confused at some of his recent releases.
Yeah, man. I don't know what space he's in, but you don't put Charlie Wilson on this type of track.
So crazy.
It was cringy. I didn't finish it.
It
It was
was.
cringy. Like even his was repetitive, but even the collaboration they had on If I Had, perfect.
Oh
Great song.
yes.
If I had I'm drumming a bar, his little runs or whatever. He couldn't even do his runs on this song.
Yeah, you couldn't even let Charlie cook. We gotta let Charlie cook, man.
You gotta
This is
let
the man. This is the
cook,
man who
man.
made Outstanding. This is the man.
Man, those type of BPMs, bro. Like you can't. That wasn't the type of song you put Charlie Wilson on. And Charlie gonna be like, yeah, like Charlie just love doing music.
He'll
Oh,
do
just
it. Yeah,
love
he'll
doing
do it.
music.
Yeah.
He don't want to go home. Or just want to be out and about. But yeah, I didn't like this. This is you could throw this away. You could definitely throw it. I'm on the board with you. Like I'm confused with Don Toliver's. I don't know if it's because he about to have a baby and he in midlife crisis.
It sounds like a midlife crisis song.
Man, what is going on here, bro? That
Oh man.
song was so terrible. It was
Yeah.
terrible. It was garbage.
Because I heard about. I didn't immediately go to. I heard about it. I was like, oh, he's got a song, Charlie Wilson, Cash Cobain. I was like, okay, this might be interesting. Then I listened to it. I was like, oh man, what was he doing? What was he? What was going on
Man,
in the studio? Because that sounded like a
that was
mess.
it. He about to drop an album too on the 14th.
Hmm.
19 songs. Hardstone
Oh
Psycho.
no.
Yeah. And Attitude. No, I want you to guess. Wait, this is weird. How did they? Oh, it's like a multiple. Like it's like EPs within it or something like that. It's weird. Guess what that song is on the album?
It's
Let me
like the
see.
sixth song.
Close. 4.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, it's 4. That's close though. That's really close.
man.
And you've been spot on, like not spot on, but really close with these. Because the last one, Vince
Shame on
Staples
the
out.
devil. Shame on the devil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's crazy. That's close. I'm gonna continue to do that because you've been like
We need
really,
to do
really
that because
close.
hey, I'm telling you, we review so many albums. Savon calls me an A&R.
Yeah, bro. Like I'm serious, bro. You definitely could be an A&R. But that's more believable than the Mavericks winning
Oh
the
man, I might have to pursue a new career. I might have to pursue a new career after the finals.
Hey,
They may
for
ban me.
sure. That man
um,
finds good music.
and now getting to a Hit Boy and the Alchemist, Drug Czar song. In this new link up, it's got more lyricism from Hit Boy, Alchemist linking up, and it's a very obviously another boom bap type track. Um, I like some of their recent songs better. This one was, I mean, it was okay to me, but it didn't stand out anyway. I believe they just dropped a brand new album, honestly, this
Yep.
past week, so we got to review that next week. But
Mm-hmm.
and this may make more sense in the total scheme of the album, but it wasn't something that like stood
Bro,
out immediately.
what?
And just yeah.
I'm sorry. What number? We just talked about it. What number you think is on the album's already out?
Oh man, how many songs was on the album?
12. I don't think you're gonna get this one.
I'm probably not gonna get this one. I'm gonna say track 9.
No, bro. Number 1.
One? Oh, I was good.
It's the intro track, bro.
uh,
I don't like. Oh, you just made me short, bro. I don't like this as an intro song.
yeah, this is not. I would have never made this the intro.
I
How?
don't. I mean, the beat was crazy.
Now I feel really skeptical about this. I was gonna say, if this is how y'all start,
Bro, I don't like how you started out.
Let's kick it off with drugs.
The bars were it was just the delivery for me. The bars were there. The lyrics was just like the delivery of this track wasn't like what I like. Like he was in a bag, but it wasn't the bag I wanted him to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted him to be in, No, I don't have a knowledge.
I was gonna wait for the punchline.
I don't have one. But nah, I don't think it's an intro. This is an intro song. But I don't think this was a single song either.
Being a Louis bag, like
A Louis bag. Nah, I don't know about no Louis. I wanted him to be in a Target bag.
A Target bag, yeah.
That boy had a grocery advantage bag.
Yeah, that was grocery. Yeah, that was grocery. Yeah, grocery advantage for sure. For sure, bro.
Hey, shout out to Grocery Advantage discounts.
Shout outs. We need to do like a record of how many shout outs we make on this podcast.
Oh yeah, Father Dogs.
But yeah, intro, man. This was not an intro song. I think that's another thing we should start doing. Just what actually is a good intro song when we listen to some of these albums, because intros matter. Intros, like, don't forget,
Absolutely.
Intros matter, man. I don't want people to put that away in this current era. Intros really matter. That lets me know what your intention of the album is going to be. We mentioned it Sunday, right? Tuscan Leather, like, oh my goodness, like from the jump, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a special album.
Oh, he rapping. Oh yeah, he's about to get into it. He's about to get into it
for sure. And now getting to our last review. I sent it to you yesterday. Lecrae's Still Here. Dropped a new single. I do want to give a shout out to one of my brother's friends, Ray Neutron. He did the cover. He did the cover for it. Shot the cover for it.
What's up?
For the song. And man, it's we've mentioned some of Lecrae's recent music, Church Clothes 4. I remember we did that review last year. I wasn't that big a fan of it. And this one is, if we're talking about a single song, I think it is a single song. I think he did pick a good single song. And the production's there.
Oh my goodness, you don't like it. He doesn't like it.
I'm trying to give it more listens, because I do think it's a good song, but I think I'm trying to get used to Lecrae's new approach to different tracks. You know what I mean?
He's been doing music for like 20 years, man.
For sure. And he's been in a long time. I think it's a good song. I'm trying to like because some songs, like, when I hear like Andy Mineo's It Could Be Worse, like, bro, hits right instantly. Like, it's a singles. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be bumping this a while. But Still Here, I'm just like, I'm in, but I'm not in. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, I'm almost like locked in, but I'm just trying to get used to his like verse approaches. But 20 years, he's had to reinvent himself for sure. Oh, but it's a single song.
Oh man, I thought you were gonna like this one. I enjoyed this one.
Okay.
Coming in, the singing thing, I was like, oh, I hope he doesn't sing the whole time. And then it kind of like he switched the gear, and then the hook, the background, it
Oh
just
yeah, that was fire.
brought it all together. I think this, yeah, man, I think this is a good song. Um,
And I want to say like what you just said from the beginning when he did the singing thing. That's kind of where I was like, is he gonna do this the entire song?
I hope he
You know what I
doesn't.
mean? But yeah, like that was. I want to say like that's why I was like a little hesitant about the track, but I think
Yeah,
overall it's a good song.
nah, definitely good song. Is I think it's definitely gonna be like a 14, 15 song album. This probably is
Mhm.
gonna be like 5 or 6. Because Cray has
Absolutely.
a yeah, Cray has a pattern he does when he really likes a song. Like he'll drop that, and it's gonna be early and often. And
Mhm.
yeah, I think I enjoyed this. This got saved. I'm gonna be bumping it, and I think when did you listen to it? Like
I
what
literally
were you
listened to it
doing?
yesterday.
Well,
It was like yesterday, right after I got off work. I had been up since like 3 in the morning, so I was like listening to it. Yeah,
ah,
I will say this: the mood I was in, I was just kind of like, I don't know, but I think if I listen to it today, like throughout the day, I probably will. Yeah,
before you play basketball today, listen to it.
yeah, oh for sure. I think that's gonna go crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I
gonna go
think it
crazy.
was just where you were.
Yeah.
Cause yeah. Cause I listened to it this morning, and I was like, oh,
Oh yeah, on a Saturday morning. Oh yeah,
I
this is
was like,
gonna be.
okay. Cause I see him post it on his, his socials,
Yeah,
on his
yeah.
Facebook, because he was at the
Because
prison.
he kept teasing it. He kept teasing, it, and I was like, "Oh man!" Like he's and I saw it yesterday. He dropped it, so I wanted to add it and review it. Because you know he's definitely been teasing some new music for sure, and he's gearing up for another release. But yeah, man,
Mhm.
it's definitely like I want to like listeners. Another thing we do these reviews when we listen to the song and the time and place that like this
Matters.
really is the full scope of things because like that matters. It all matters. Like, oh, I listened to it here, and it's like it didn't work, but then I listened to it like overall, and you give it more listens, just like how we
Mhm.
mentioned with that Ben Sables album, the amount of listens you give it, and I think this one is gonna definitely grow on me. So
Mhm.
for sure, oh definitely, we're gonna take a quick break and we right back with our The Untouchables review.